Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Recovery 3 on today's podcast, Traveling Across the Country. Rachel, take it away.
Wow.
That summed it up pretty good.
Offended.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that was authentic. Thanks for that lovely introduction. We're working on it, people. Thanks for all of your support and keep following us because we're fucking great. Anyway.
It's only getting better.
Oh, that's right.
Better
like
spelled B-E-T-T-A-R.
It's like marriage in reverse.
There you go.
I hate you. Soon you won't. We're going to Benjamin Button your ass.
Watched that recently, actually.
Did you?
Yeah, that's a good movie.
That's a good one, right?
Button's a brutal movie.
It is brutal, but it's a great movie. It is, for sure. All right, so, friends, and this has everything to do with sobriety and recovery because I stayed sober through all this. Here we go. We're on the journey together. Make peace with it. I went and visited Stanley for, like a week? And I have never been to. It's not Oregon. It's Oregon. Midwesterners. If you go there and say Oregon, they will tell you that's not it. And Stanley has a whole. Actually, delight the peoples because you're going to post this on YouTube and all that too, right? Like the actual.
Yep.
Okay, so show me how you taught me to say it correctly. This is funny.
That's what I was doing. It's gun.
Oregon.
Yeah, Oregon. Exactly. So in Oregon, one, it's gorgeous. It's so beautiful. And from his balcony, you could see Washington, which is just amazing. Well, now he can. He moved. Anyway, the journey begins. Lovely week. Amazing time. Really, really cool.
Welcome to paradise.
That's right. Cause I'm your lady. No, I'm just teasing. But it was kind of like that. So Stanley proposed to me and I said yes. Now the whole world knows.
What? Wait, what?
No.
Why didn't... hold on, I'm having a hard time.
Oh, Brian doesn't know.
Okay,
Brian was supposed to be there.
I'm gonna pretend like I didn't. Okay, all right. So he proposed to you.
All right.
Go
so
on.
what are you feeling? You tell me.
I'm just trying to get my breath back under control. 3, 2, 1. Okay.
Deep breath.
All right. So he proposed to you. Go on, please. Sorry to interrupt.
He did. It was amazing. He told me he didn't have anything to give me but his heart. And I said yes. So yes, ladies and gents, you do not need a ring when it's the real thing. I thought he was joking. What does it sound like? An ad?
No, I was gonna say it sounded like a hip hop song.
You don't need a ring when it's the real thing. What beat would you put to that?
You don't need a ring when it's the real thing.
Ow! Only here in the Recovery 3. TM. That's TM'd. That's trademarked right now. So he proposed to me by, what is that? What do you guys consider that? A lake or a river? To me, that's a river because I'm from.
That is along the Columbia River.
Yeah, where you could kind of look out like a little point after we ate dinner. It was awesome. We made out a little bit, and the waitress was like, "You guys," this was really cute. We were outside vaping and kissing, and she's like, "Yo, do your thing." I just wanted to let you know, food is coming. By the way, people are so kind there; it's ridiculous. So he proposed. I said yes because I love him. And I made him pinky promise me that we'd be Thunder Buddies for life.
What is
so all that's okay. Yeah, we're just ride or die because I'm more about the contractual, spiritual, physical is important, but that mental connection, emotional connection. That's what I'm looking for. And We had a great time with the kids, like really good time. They want me to have a baby immediately. And we were picking out names, and now we have a feelings candle. You have to hold it to talk, and it was amazing. I know they loved it. They loved it to the point.
like
Get this,
that.
Brian. It was so cute. Oh, there it is. There's a feelings candle. They love it to the point where when Stanley would fart, they're like, "You hold the feelings candle, Rachel. Dad farted down here. Give him the candle." I'm like,
hold it like a microphone. How do you feel right now? Well, it stinks like shit, Stanley. You should probably not do that in here.
it was hilarious because I'm a big fan of like talking about the feelings and having check-ins and stuff with each other. And my nail's not abiding right now. Anyway, so all that's wonderful. We got coffee every day. We did it a whole bunch. He also had this beautiful like setup in the garage, which I loved, with like a tapestry. It looks like this one on the garage door and candles everywhere. In seltzer, what was it? The limoncello bottles. He was nervous water. I wouldn't like it. That was my favorite part, by the way, because it's real. Like creating a space like that, I love just little nooks and crannies and being together. Like that's all I really care about anyway.
Yes.
So
I agree.
Right?
I agree. Because to me, I mean, first of all, I just want to make this comment. I've said this for a little while now for myself. To me, because I've never been married, but I view marriage as a contract of the heart. That's what it really is. That's really what it is. And if it's anything other than that,
it's bullshit.
I mean, this idea of it, like this idea of there being this exchange of a ring and all of this, it's all just made up.
Grandiose everything. No, you're right. I mean, well, I actually got a ring in the mail because all my stuff that I ordered came in. So it's like they took the top of a spoon and then made it a ring. So that's what I'm using right now. However, we did go to a jewelry store and I'm making my own because Madam does have expensive taste. And I love that Stanley's down with that. But it's not important. I kept telling him you don't have to do it. And I meant it because it isn't. I don't want that to be the symbol of our love. Anyway, I could gush for the whole hour on that. So that happened. And then I went home.
How long were you guys together?
All right, Stanley. What do you mean? About 7 days. No, 6 days. 6 days.
You arrived Monday about 9. I arrived at the airport Monday about 9 o'clock. Because I'm an asshole and was looking at the boarding pass and the time that she was supposed to land. And so I left with what I thought was plenty of time to arrive at the airport. Turns out she lands and was like, "Hi, I'm here." And it's like, "Oh, fuck."
Mister doesn't like to be late.
Now getting on the freeway. And so I made it in exceptional time.
Well, you drive like a maniac, but I trust you. And a half hour for Stanley is 10 minutes. So because it's like an hour away and you do that shit in like 40 minutes.
You must remember I worked at the airport building it. And so that my car, I've also driven to Portland for call it 15 years for my construction experiences. So the car basically drove itself.
So, we drive there. I think my flight was at night on the 1st. It was supposed to be at like 10:30. So I get there with enough time. I'm crying like a baby because I didn't want to leave. And his daughters hugged me and wouldn't let me go. And one tried to put me back in the car. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to go. Because if I linger too long, Niagara Falls, even more. And they kept hugging me and wouldn't let me go. And I was hugging Stanley and I was just like, I got to go now. So I left and I looked back and they were all hugging. I'm like, ah! So I'm crying like an idiot, trying to get my ticket. Get in there. It's 10:30. I even called Brian at one point. Right before we're all going to board, they're like, we don't have a pilot. And I'm like, oh, all right.
That's what it was.
Yeah, there was no pilot. So the delay was like, I mean, to me, that's not even a delay. Yeah, exactly. 11 hours. So Stanley came back and picked me up, and I just went pretty much straight to bed because I was exhausted. So I was like, go a million miles an hour. I don't care. So we were able to have another night together. I had to get up early, make all my calls because it's all different time zones to get people to pick me up. We arranged that. And I also had a connecting flight in Chicago. Brian's close to Chicago. I thought, cool, maybe I can meet him. Well, finally get on that one flight. That's all cool. Get to Chicago. And I'm like, what our plan was is I was just going to drive home because with the delay, I don't know how, I didn't think that they would just automatically connect me if it's not one, straight flight because I don't fly enough to know. So in the middle of the flight, somehow that Chicago to Detroit flight was still on. But by the time I landed, it literally gave me 5 minutes to get there to board. So I'm like, how's that going to fucking work? So I'm like, fuck it, we won't do that. And I told the lady in Portland at PDX, I was like, I'm going to Chicago. So I'm like, I'll get my bags and go. Well, no bags. And by this point, I'm starving. I had one family-size Kit Kat, king size. That was it. At when did we eat? 7 in the morning? 8 in the morning? It was early as fuck.
We woke up at 6:30. So we went to bed at 1:15. Woke up at 6:30. So that way you would have the opportunity to, because, that'll be 9:30 for East Coast. And that would give you the ability to call whoever you needed to make whatever decision you wanted. Because the decision that we were facing while she was in the town that I live in Oregon was hit your original flight and we needed to get you to the airport at 8 o'clock to hit the 2-hour window because you never know. But one of the busiest airports in the world, you need that time. And then the other option was for her to continue staying all the way that Sunday and then leave at she would fly out at 11 at night.
Yeah, because we're on the phone with people.
And so you were calling people.
Yeah, to pick me up because there was nothing. And I thought, fuck, we'll just, he's like, we'll rent a car. I'm like, cool. So got on Chicago. My luggage isn't there. And I'm like, because even when I was waiting for luggage, Stanley's like, I bet it's in Detroit. And I'm like, don't you put that evil on me. I can't believe you said that. So I'm starving. I'm cranky. I haven't eaten since it really was probably 7 or 8. And that was Pacific time. And then so in Central time, you got to add an hour. Long ass time. Because I landed at 3 or 2. At 2?
It's 2 hours for Central time.
Okay. And I landed at 2. So it was like 6 hours, 7 hours. And couldn't find my bag. Went to the baggage claim. And the lady was like, oh, it's not here. It's in Detroit. I'm like, okay, well, can you just mail that to me? No, we can't do that. Why? Because you have to claim it because it's there. I'm like, no, thanks. And it was just like, this is what we have to do. People look at me like they're on the computer and just like, you work here. I don't work here. Like, what do you want from me? Do you want me to go back there? I don't know what this is. So I'm like, well, fuck it. I'll figure it out. I'll just drive to, I don't care. And then I take the amazing long journey through all the trains and the wondrous lands of lollipops and rude people all the way to, what the fuck was it?
They were hella rude.
So fucking rude. I can't stand it. And it made me just think, why did I come back at all? So went to Avis and was going to check out. She's like, credit card? I'm like, oh, no, it's already paid for. No. I'm like, yeah, it is. She's like, no, here's the receipt. He only paid $20. I'm like, okay, well, I can't pay it. So can I just use his card? Because I had Stanley on the phone with me. No, you need it physically. I'm like, okay. So Stanley and I had to go outside so I could vape. And Stanley's on the phone figuring it out. Didn't realize that on there it says you have to have the same card and then physically be present. It's like the little hidden things that they probably should put in big print, but they don't.
For every rental car agency too.
Right. And I'm like, I guess I understand that, we probably should have looked and whatever, but it was a rush. It was a rush decision. No, it was a rush decision. We had a lot of shit going on. I can't talk to you when I'm in an airplane. And so I'm like, okay, well, whatever. So I figure it out again, a different way to pay for it. I go up there. I didn't realize there was a deposit. And again, when you're in kind of like that, you're figuring it out stage, like I'm not thinking ahead that I need so much money. Oh, and to backtrack real quick, I'd also take a million escalators, which I hate. I will always take the stairs, even with my bunk ass knee, which is still bunk. So at this point, my knee's pretty fucking swollen too. And I go to the first place for Avis because what you have to go all the way down, like take the train all the way like east, and then go all through the crazy windy labyrinth of fucking escalators to get this Avis place. And the guy's like, "Do you have a reservation?" "No, it's not here." So I had to figure that out. And then he's like, "Oh no, here it is." Because I had Stanley on the phone. I'm like, "What the fuck?" Go back through the windy, stream of escalators to the bottom level of Avis. I'm like, none of this makes sense. That happened with the credit card thing. Go back to a different lady. And she's like, okay, so that's going to be 400 blue. And I'm like, what? She's like, yeah, there's a $200 deposit. I'm like, oh, I can't do that. Is there anything you can do? She tries calling this agent to see if they can help me. And he's like, no, it's going to be $600 because she lives far away. Get off the phone. Literally. You live really far away. Yeah, no shit. That's why I need a car. You don't have any other credit cards? No. You don't have $600? She said this. You don't have $600? No. Someone joins in. You don't have $600? I'm like, would everyone like to know that I'm broke? Because I will give, where's the fucking, hi, my name's Rachel. I have no money and I'm stuck in Chicago. Are we happy now? It was insane. And then the guy.
Chicago!
Yeah, they're fucked up. They couldn't get over it. And I'm like, okay, now let's move on. And he's like, you got to take a Greyhound. I'm like, well, I'm thinking an Uber. He's like, no one's going to come out here for that. Because he explains the whole process of how far away I live and how many hours that is. Like, I don't fucking know. I'm like, thank you. So now I'm crying because I'm very frustrated. I'm all over the place. I try to get a hold of Brian because I'm like, maybe it's not. Can't come in, yeah. Because I was done. And then he didn't answer. I'm like, I'm going to be here at the labyrinth of escalators. Where do I pee? That's weird thoughts going through my head. Stanley figures it out. I take the train back. I go to a flight, right? Delta. And I'm like, okay, cool. He's like, you're going to fly here. We got it all set. I'm like, sweet. All done. And I'm like, I need to eat. I'm going to eat somebody. I said that. I was like, I'm going to literally start just zombie out and take a chunk of somebody. I'm at that point. It's DEFCON red zone level. Not good. I'm in a halts galore. I get to Delta and it's PSA time, right? TSA, PSA. What is it? TSA. Why do I say PSA? I don't know. Okay.
TSA.
O'Hara.
TSA.
Or O'Hare or whatever. TSA. Whatever the fuck. Is it O'Hara? Whatever. I don't care.
O'Hare.
Fuck you. Fuck you. I hope one of you bitches, here it is. Not only is it busy as fuck, and I'm like, shit, I got 10 minutes to get to this gate. Never been to this airport. Whatever, I can do it. Let's go. I'll get naked at this point. Just take everything. Run it through. Lots of lines. Lots of foreign people. I'm in there, and it's like going to Goebbels, may I say it, it's like going to Auschwitz. I was like, what is this? They're yelling at us. I was waiting for the cattle prod. These two ladies that can't speak English. This lady literally was like, put your coat in there. Put your coat in there. All right, guys, everyone put their shoes. No, it can't be in the basket. It's got to be separate. You got to push it through. Now look at you holding up the line. That's all you're doing. And I'm like, fuck. And then there's signs before even getting these fucking like hamster racks of like no talking back, pretty much, no violence and all that. I'm like, this is gonna fucking suck.
You are aware like that they've had a lot of problems with that.
I have not, but I also know that they were not kind when there's no reason to just shout. But no, I didn't.
I'm just pointing it out. Like, it's been a big issue, especially with the masks, all of this. Like, there's been a lot of problems with people acting out. And so I'm just kind of reflecting that back.
No, it makes sense.
Kind of,
yeah,
probably
it makes
one of
sense.
the reasons why they've had to kind of become a little more I don't know.
It's
Yes.
delish. I mean, I
Hmm.
appreciate that perspective because I understand. And normally it's just that vibe going in, all the energy. I was like, ooh.
Oh yeah, you were already exhausted. I understand. I'm just
I
pointing out.
was. Yeah.
There's a lot of times when we get in those states, we personalize everything.
Oh, I was absolutely at that point. But I also know to shut up because it's like this is not my show. I know it's a lot. I'm
Right,
sure they've had
right.
a lot of shit. But I also know like coming at someone aggressively when you don't want aggression is not smart when no one's even doing anything. We just want to get to our flight. No one was rude. And I mean, it was just yelling. Except for the dude that took my ID when I first went in. He was cool. He commented on my glasses and he was very kind. So I'm in there, I take all my shit off. We're going through. They wanted us to push everything through ourselves, but I couldn't do that because there was a line of people ahead of me and all their shit. So I thought, okay, this is how you do it. They'll just push it through. Every airport I've gone through when it's busy, they push your crap through. Once it's on that conveyor belt, you're done. I go through the fucking turny whirly fucking thing of death, make sure I don't have weapons up my asshole. And I get out because first they're like, you stand, you gotta put your arms up. I'm like, oh, okay. I know my face said it all. They pat me down. I'm like, whatever. And then they even brought someone over. Is that okay? Like to look at all the hot spots. I'm like, I'm sweaty. My vagina and in between. Sweat. What do you want? It's all sweat in here. My shit doesn't come out. And I'm like, what the fuck? This lady comes over. You got to come back. So me and this dude had to go all the way back through the line in front of everyone. She's like, you didn't push it through. You're not following the rules. Now everybody's behind. I'm like, he and I just look at each other. And in my head, I'm like, I already thought about like a fucking ferocious mongoose of fury just ripping her throat out and eating her heart alive, like goddamn Indiana Jones style. And I look at this guy, I'm like, have you? Because he's like, God damn. I'm like, what the fuck was that? He's like, holy rude. I'm like, dude, I'm like, have you flown here before? Am I missing something? He's like, a few times, but this is insane. I'm like, yeah, they're mean. So we had to go back through, and then they pat me down again. They wanted to look through my legs and stuff. And I'm like, I know in my head, I'm like, shut the fuck up, because if I say something, they're going to strip search me. Like, this is not the time. Because I already didn't listen.
Yeah, right.
And you're right. I definitely personalized because I was exhausted. Because being in halts is not cool. And then when you're under stress like that, I get all my stuff. Of course, I have boots on that I have to, like, wrap around the boot and tie up, and it's just annoying. I should have brought fucking Crocs. And my knee is even bigger at this point. It's really swollen, so I'm hobbling my ass down. I literally have to go all the way to the very end of all the terminals. And before I get there, I grab food because I'm going to eat somebody. I called Stanley. I was like, what the fuck, these motherfuckers? I'm like, good God. And I was just like, you guys here, you can all suck a fucking dick. Chicago sucks. Like, I was so pissed. And I go down and I sit. And actually, even before that, Stanley's like, I have good and bad news. I'm like, I don't want to know any of it. None of it right now. I'm all good. You keep it in, you swallow it down, you bury it deep. And you don't tell anyone ever. I'm like, what the fuck's the good news? He's like, you can eat. I'm like, yeah, no shit. I'm getting food right now. And that cost me $50 for, like, you know, some jujubes and just hopes and dreams.
Yeah.
Yeah, for real. And then he's
I
like,
haven't been there in a long
late.
time, so this is. I mean, it does suck. That airport sucks, but I'm like more remembering now the last time I was there because of what you're saying.
Is it bad? And I am not exaggerating when I say, like, they were just, like, in people's faces, like, now you're holding up the line. Now why don't you guys just listen? I told you, get your stuff in the bag. Get your stuff in the... I'm like...
Cattle prod.
I mean, just immediate. Oh, this look I gave her. I was just like, bitch, you fucking... I'm from... I don't care if you're bigger than me. I was going to fuck your shit up. I was so fucking mad because it's... I don't want to go back there, but Stanley wants me to do this because he thinks it's going to be good content.
I don't want to wait.
For our lives to be over, I'm gonna
Before I
eat your
punch
face,
you
bitch.
in the face.
I'm gonna eat your face, bitch. Fucking cunt twat. She was a cum twat, like million nth degree. And I know my eyes were like, I would fuck you up on the streets. I don't care about Chicago.
Do you think she sensed this? Was she like,
Oh, I'm sure she did, because she would make eye contact. But they were like, the eye contact they gave me is like, you know how like dudes have like that, you get a vibe from other dudes, like, you know, dudes speak body language wise. Yeah, I know.
sure.
Okay. Thanks for the slow nod. And Stanley's like, I don't give a shit. That's what I'm talking about. But women, we do the same thing. We do the same thing. And they were giving that, but it was a little group of them. And I'm like, I was just like, where's all my bitches from the D-Town and the like Flint? Because we're about to fucking rumble. Like, I am set with this goddamn attitude. But I had to let it go. And I didn't do a great job at that. Obviously, listen to me now. So I'm getting food. Everything's delayed. I'm like, okay. I finally go to the bathroom. I'm disgusting. I'm like in the bathroom. This is me in the, huh? Yeah, eating the food, crying. And I'm like.
No, I said you came back and she was eating your food. And she was like,
oh,
yeah,
you know what? If she would have touched my food, it would have been like, pop, pop. Like, all set. I would have fucking grabbed her ass like a goddamn mongoose and wrapped myself around her like a python. Like, there'd be no breathing room.
Damn.
Bitch. Fucking cunt. Fuck you. I love your little illusion of power. Good job. I hope you get laid with that little 2-inch dick at night, too. Fucking hoe. Anyway, so.
Damn.
This is the bathroom pot that we were talking about. Please continue.
It is not hot. It is not hot. It's annoying because when I gotta get to this level of like ghetto in me, not good. And I know people out there, you know what that means, huh?
I said the ghetto in me is the ghetto in you.
The ghetto in me is the ghetto in you. So I'm in the bathroom. Of course, I picked the stall that doesn't have any like seat cover, and I don't care at this point. I'm like, you could have shit stain. I'm done. So I'm in there. I'm like, because I needed to, and we all do it. And I get out and I make the last of the journey down the winding.
Damn, I thought you were gonna say that somebody like slid underneath with their head looking up at you and was like, oh.
You know what I would have done, Brian? Pop, pop! Like that would have been straight fucking gangster boot to the face. I'd be like, get the fuck to step in or wipe my shit because I'm all set right now. I wouldn't.
TSA agent, they were like, no vaping.
I'd be like, make a different choice right now. You gotta get out of my vicinity because I can't. All
right, so you get out of the bathroom.
I have all my food. I sit. Finally, everybody's quiet, and I'm like, this is weird. And then there's a message we all have to move to from M3 to M7. I'm like, okay, whatever. And then it's delayed again. So how long was it delayed? Like 7 hours? I think it was like 5 to 7 hours.
Was there anything going on that was like making? I'm just trying to think. There was no major.
Well, yeah, the pilots were fucking wasted. That's what. And no, I have no idea. Honestly, don't know.
It was actually the weather. There were competing weather patterns that went through that area. We were. I had to talk to a few other people who live around that area, Ohio, the Cleveland area, almost specifically. And there was a weather front that came through from the north, from Lake Erie, and then there was a weather front that came in from the south. And so pilots all over the fucking place were having just the hardest time getting to places to work. And not only that, it was dangerous to fly as well. So it got pushed back quite a bit.
Yeah. And I sit for like an hour. No one's friendly. No one's talking. I'm like, I don't care. I'll just zone out. Talk to Holly. I bitched so much. Holly's my best friend, and I tell her everything. And I'm also like, that's it. I'm moving to Oregon. I'm sick of this shit. Fuck you, Midwest. To the point where whomever was by me got up and left because I was like, I'm about 2 seconds away from taking my fucking Red Bull, just clocking someone in the head. Like, get out. Just don't be near me.
Like go a twisted tea.
Everyone went away. Oh, I was done.
Did they sing while they were walking away? Were they like singing together? Like, We're frightened of this woman here. She's
And I was
clearly
like, you
about
fucking should because I'm about to get some ghetto on you. Yeah, I was not happy. And at this point, I ate my food like a ravenous beast in the night. Like, hasn't eaten in like weeks. I'm like, it's disgusting. It's just everywhere, down my boobs. I didn't care. I go and sit, and I'm like, great, now I'm squidgies. I have no luggage, but thank God I always pack like my toothbrush and extra pair of underwear because I'm smart. Do it, and my deodorant. I go in and I start brushing my teeth. And these girls like, I'm like, don't even comment. Get going. This is your lane over there. And oh man. So I'm cleaning myself off. I took my shirt off. I'm cleaning my pits. I don't care at this point. Fuck it. Brush my teeth, go into the bathroom, change my undies. I just threw them away because that's gross. And I'm all fresh. I come out. I wait for another, 4 hours? And finally get on the plane. And that one wasn't too bad. And they're like, this is what I love. One of the pilots, because the flight attendants were laughing, we're going to be going to Detroit. And I just want to thank all of you for flying United. Oh, excuse me, Delta. And we're sorry about everything that happened, but we want you to keep emailing the customers. And it was so stupid. So that made me giggle.
Panties, we could have shipped them to Japan and sold them in a fucking vending machine. But come to find out,
if you're a prisoner and want to do like an Orange is the New Black, I'll get down with that. Yeah. Anyway, that's totally different. You don't want those underwear. I'm telling you. That's why I almost got patted down for real because they're like, what are these spots? Fucking sweat. It's a vagina. God. What do you think? I had a lot of sex. Anyway, so I did, and it was amazing. I get to Detroit and go to Delta to find out about my bags, wait in that glorious line, and they're like, you have to go to United, but they're closed. Cool. So they're like, you'll have to come back tomorrow. I go outside. I'm like the only one out there trying to find an Uber. And Uber is not easy when you live in the areas I live in because we can walk everywhere. It's a small town. So Uber has to come from like cities, like 30 plus minutes away, mostly an hour. So no one wanted to take my ride because it was an hour ride or drive. Someone finally picked it up.
You're welcome. I had to look for it from the town I live in Oregon to get somebody to be like, oh, let's pick this person up.
Don't let Stanley steal my thunder. I did all the work because I was huffing it to and fro, okay? By the way, my knee is like melon size at this point, so I really can't walk. So I look like a pirate. I have an Ewok hat on. Let me show you real quick. Delight the kids.
I'm thinking that it like took on perhaps like an anime face of its own, at that point.
It did. It looked similar to Akira. No, it's the writhing mass that is Akira towards the end of the movie. And I am not trying to steal your thunder. I am merely adding some light.
I'm teasing you.
Yeah. It was very interesting because I'm sitting here across the country.
Yeah.
I'm like 2,000 miles away looking for an Uber helping her look for an Uber. There was two people.
I'm teasing you.
And this is at the Detroit airport.
Yes.
Oh, here's my hat.
Yum.
And here's my backpack. It's a unicorn, Betsy Johnson, because she's the best. So I look like a grown-ass kid. I had like some ghetto music on, and at the end of I didn't care anymore. I was just done. I'm so exhausted talking about it. I went outside. I find this Uber. This nice gentleman comes up to me and talks to me about his trip. I'm like, okay, because I guess that's what smokers do. And I get this Uber. He arrives. And then the fun journey of finding him because I didn't know this, but Ubers have to pick up at the rideshare, which I've never used.
Oh.
And I was at the he's like, I'll get in trouble. I'm like, what? Because they have rules. He's like, I picked up pilots there before and they tattle on me. I'm like, who the fuck tattles? I'm like, I'm not tattling at all. Right now, I'd lick a fucking left ball that's been sitting on a hot stove all day just to get a ride home. Yeah, we've all been there. So don't pretend like you haven't, please.
Smokers unite. Smoke elk bars.
Right.
Please sponsor us. Continue.
Woo, yes. So I'm go back in like the Delta side, and then I have to find out where this guy is and how to get. It took me 20 minutes to get to him at least. I scared the shit out of workers because I'm in the parking garage and I'm like, oh my God, this is where it ends. This is where I get murdered. I'm so stupid. It's like 3 a.m. Look at me. And I'm in this parking garage. I can't find anyone. I'm like, this is how it ends. I've seen too much to know that this is going to be a great thing. And I finally come upon some workers and I scared the living shit out of them because they, I guess, weren't expecting me. So they scream, which that was kind of funny. And then they tell me where to go. I have to go down another fun escalator of madness. And I finally get out where I'm supposed to be. I'm like, where are you out? He's in the parking garage. I have to stay there. So I have to walk across the street again. I almost get hit by this huge yellow bus. I didn't tell Stanley that. I go over there and I'm like, is this you? He's all the way in the corner. I'm like, this is it. I'm going to die. I'm like, well, at least I got a ride. And I get in there and that was it. Because the whole time I was like, please don't leave. I had to call him. And he's like, oh, I'm too invested now. I'm not leaving. I'm like, thank you. He was amazing. Jeffrey, thank you so much if you listen, because I did tell him about us and he's all down to follow, listen, and hopefully be on here because I do have a little segue.
I hope he comes on this podcast. Jeffrey, thank you for helping me. I appreciate you.
Me. Thank you for helping me.
How about that? Can we compromise with us?
Thank you for helping us. Marriage. The
Thanks.
beautiful,
It's
wondrous.
about Jeffrey, okay? Not you guys. All right. Get together.
Jeffrey was awesome. One, he had a sweet Jeep, and he was talking about recovery and stuff with me, so it was cool. But I also thought, I'm like, dude, we want to do a segment. I'm like, I was just talking to my fiance, about that's nice to say, about like doing a segment with Uber drivers and like the crazy shit you see, because you know it's all people like wasted or, you know, high or whatever the fuck. And yeah, he was very sweet. He took me all the way home. I could barely get in the house.
Everybody take Ubers or high and drunk?
A lot, yeah. A lot of drunk ass people. The stories he told me, perfect. I'm not, because like wouldn't it be cool though? I'm so interested in that. I'm like, what is it really like? And hopefully he will tell us. So come on anytime you want. Covering
Uber drivers, go ahead and reach out to us. We would love to have you on the podcast.
Great stuff. Because you still got to be funny. And bless you if you need to be in recovery. Just come on in here too, and we'll help you. I make my way home. It is 4 a.m. And I was very prepared, by the way, to just sleep in the goddamn Delta chair like a fucking hobo. Wherever it was, I don't know. Some people left their luggage, and I thought maybe if I just like open it up and find a blankie. I mean, I was really getting desperate. 4 a.m. I come home, hobble my huge watermelon of a knee into the house, and just fucking ravenously eat the rest of the food I had. And I was like, right after, I'm like, I'm so hungry and tired. You know, you're just like, this is me right now. And that was my journey from Portland to Detroit, all the way back to the lovely area of Howell. But I'm engaged, so that's cool. And I have this sweet hat. And that was nice because the Uber driver needed to know what I looked like. I'm like, I have a bear hat. I know. I get it already. You don't have to. Just don't ask. Oh, and at the Chicago airport, when I was waiting for like the 7 hours or whatever, a dude came up with a drink. He's like, "Hey, you guys going to Michigan?" And everyone looks because it's a ton of us. We've already been waiting. We've already moved a million times. They had to move a lot of people to different terminals. It was crazy.
Oh.
Where they were coming up and they're like, I'm like, oh, they just made an announcement. Like, because I was trying to help anybody if they're, you know, I know how it is. And I would redirect them. It was 3 or 4 terminals that kept moving and kept getting delayed. It was crazy. But this guy comes up with his little drink. He's like, so, is there anything fun to do in Michigan? And everyone just turned and looked like, shut the fuck up. And I was like, I'm the only person I look. Yeah. There's fun stuff. That was my big moment to like say something profound. That's it can be fun.
The death.
I know. Oh, so yeah, that's what I did. I don't know if any of that was funny or made sense, but it sucked. I'm glad to be done with it, and I'm exhausted. I also had 4 hours of sleep, if that. Had to go get my dog today, and I'm pretty much just going on hope streams and fumes. So, and I got to work tomorrow. The end.
Ta-da. The end.
And people kept staring at me like hardcore, and I thought, what's wrong with me? Because I was wearing these glasses, and I forget that everybody stares every time I wear them because they look broken, but they're not broken. Go to Zlul, people. They're the best. Also, you can sponsor us. That'd be perfection because I'd wear all of your lenses or frames, whatever. Done.
They staring at you and they were like, look at those glasses.
Oh, yeah. People are, I get this. Like this one guy, and I stared back like.
And he was like,
don't stare at women on the train. Oh, yeah.
I just don't have half of my brain, actually.
Pretty much. I'm like, you're ladies right there. You gonna get me in trouble and yourself. Also in Chicago, I went outside and I was talking to a security guard to see where I would go to get to that rental place. And this dude kept walking past me because my bag was open. So I stared his ass down too. And I was like, I wish you would, because today's the day. It's going to be a fight, even if you do fuck me up. So good luck.
Ooh.
Glad I'm not the only one who thinks that. Today's the day. Please.
You don't go up to people like that, like ladies. Like, stop it. Don't do that. Nasty. That's not nice.
Yeah, Chicago is I don't go down to the city unless I have to. That's where I am at with that. So I understand kind of.
Detroit, it's not cool. Like Detroit was nice because I'm used to it. But Chicago can suck so many bags of dick, and not good ones. Venereal diseased, gonorrhea. Let's throw some syphilis in there. All the polka dotted drippy drips of the lands. That's what you need. Fuck you. Sorry if you're from Chicago. That's just what I think.
Please tell me how you really feel.
Yeah.
No. That's how I feel.
Oh, it smells like you. Oh my God, I was screwed up.
He's got it bad. He went full retard. He's full on.
So you like went basically from like you were like immersed in this like little paradise bubble.
Yes, best
like,
vacation.
All right, okay. You were like, all right, I gotta leave. It was like, gotta leave. And then it was like the devil was standing there like, I'm gonna fuck you up. Like I'm gonna
bend over, bitch.
Up. Cause like
yes.
You ain't getting that heaven for free, not on my watch. And you were
Pretty
like,
much.
what? You're like, what? Why? And then people were like, hey, check it out. It's Rude o'clock, bitch. And, and you were
it was.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
Welcome to my world, bitch. Yeah, welcome to my world, Grandma. It was not good. But I made it home, and I'm grateful. I'm very grateful for the experience. And I stayed sober because at one point when I was really in the halts getting food, there was this huge cooler of just booze and wine. And it was like, and free taste testing. And I'm like, I just noped it. I noped it hardcore, and I'm proud of myself because those are the moments that you get a little slip. So I will admit, I had a thought, but I didn't do it.
Yeah.
Well done.
Absolutely. Well, the other thing I think to keep in mind is that you guys were, taking a major leap of faith forward And in my experience, when you do that, there's almost always these kinds of things that come along with it. So to speak, the cost. It's not always the case, but a lot of times I think it does happen when you take a leap of faith.
And it goes
No,
well.
I agree with you. Stanley and I work very well together, and we've like one of my things like that was going to make or break this was because I was very hesitant to go, just because this is a big decision, and I don't take it lightly, and neither does he. And I was thinking like I need to see, I wanted to see when he was frustrated or how his family was or like chaos, because that's when you really see how people are. Not that I was going to create it, but that's real life. And I went in with no expectations, with all the hopes in the world, and it was beyond my wildest dreams.
You weren't like setting fire to the rug, like while he's in the bathroom.
Yeah, I just go in, everyone's naked, like, ah! I'm like, these are my people.
All that chaos.
Now I'm like, hang on a minute. No.
It just happened. You helped me move.
It did.
And moving
I
is
helped him
usually when
move.
people fucking lose their shit.
And I just started grabbing shit. Oh, we went to Walmart with the kids. And, one, I had a lot of fun because I was like, let's go 86 Dead and just go to the home goods section. So we ran to the home goods section. I'm waking up my son because I'm too loud.
Standing there holding the cart as my two daughters and Rachel just go, it was like,
we wanted to smell candles. And then like packing all that stuff up. Like this is maybe not, doesn't mean anything to anybody, but for me it does. Just being able to like, with two kids later at night, excitement in Walmart or anywhere. Everyone's asking questions. They want. And I'm like, okay, that's how it's done. So I just get in there and we both like hand each other stuff and we get it all done without saying anything. And then he was very prepared to like put everything in the trunk. And I'm like, no, I got it. And then when we got home, I picked up, because I'm that person, like, give me all the bags. But there's no plastic there because the environment's cool, I guess. And
you guys don't have plastic bags there?
Not at the Walmart by my house. It's all terribly thin paper bags that just rip when you look at them.
That's how the paper ones are. The half ply bags. So I went the grandma's sheer nightie bags, and I just took a whole bunch, went upstairs, and he just was staring at me, and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to help you. So things like that mean a lot. And that could be something that people get pissed about, is the little things. I was able to meet his brother, which was awesome, and his sister-in-law, and they were really cool. I made breakfast and pancakes with the kids. We moved. What else was crazy that happened?
You got to meet Gary.
I love Gary. Gary Bear, you're the shit, and I love you. And he kind of did like an impromptu like therapy session, like vetting me, because he loves Stanley, and I get it, and I appreciate that. And at the end, he was like, "Do you have an officiant yet?"
Was he slapping your cheeks and stuff?
He did.
You ready?
He actually, I hate being booped. I hate the boops. It's not for me.
Yes.
But he did ask. What did he say at the end? He's an officiant or something, and he wanted to marry us. Like right then. He wasn't playing. And he's been a therapist for how long?
Over 20 years.
And he said it was 10% compatibility, because people really, settle in with being compatible, and 90% hard work. And I'm like, yeah, we already do that.
That was my major thought, is like when I was thinking about after Rachel told me, and I was just processing it myself, just because,
yeah, it's fair.
I was just thinking about it, and my basic conclusion was essentially that I could see how people would look at the decision and be like, "What are they doing? It's way too fast." And to me, it's like, no, it's more a matter of who you are, what you want, and knowing exactly that. Like, there's no way that your situation is going to be anything other. You guys know that. It's going to be hard work. It's more about knowing what the end result would be. And to me, that's what I was like, I can see where they're coming from. I could just understand the basic idea behind it. Because for me, it's like, what else are you gonna do? I mean, just be like, oh, let's get
We'll
together
chill
sometime
forever.
again. That was nice. It was nice to see you.
Just handshake.
Yeah, you're real nice.
A couple of
I like
weeks.
that. I like that about you.
You know what? You're swell. I like that about you.
How are you?
You make me feel pretty good.
The things
Pretty
that
good.
happened, we had to go. Because I'm not going to say you had to. You were present through some of them. I had to deal with things that really set people off pretty hardcore. So one of the things that I had to go through was, so I'm trying to move, right? In order to move, we ended up moving Friday. And so one of the things that ended up happening for moving was I was supposed to move Tuesday, and that got pushed back due to Oregon law requiring carpets having to be cleaned every time a new tenant moves in. So the carpets had to be cleaned, and I got pushed out from Tuesday to Friday. And I could have absolutely gone, and just thrown a huge fit, but we didn't do that. We
So you're
talked.
moving from where to where again?
So inside of where I live, I was living inside of a studio apartment. Inside of the same condo, I have moved from a studio apartment to a 3-bedroom, 2-bath place.
It's beautiful.
Cool. Oh, but inside the same complex. Okay.
It's literally next door, so it's an easy move in that sense. But we still had to get the couch out and take the mattresses upstairs, which I had the great idea. I'm like, let's take these and luge on down the stairs, right? If you've never done that, it's a good time. But I didn't. I behaved because I feel like moving sucks. So let's just make it fun.
And your
moving
knee was
does suck. And moving couches, I have argued to death with people about how to get them out. That just didn't happen. We talked about it, and then because we talked about, hey, why do you think we should do this? And then I instantly remembered, hey, my stepson helped me move in here. I had to take the door off. We would have fought that damn out. Yeah, in and out.
Well, and we have a good give and take because like you told me how to turn it and how to lift it, and I listen. I'm not going to argue because it's like that's fine. I'm not like, don't you mansplain how to move this couch while we're moving the couch. Like that's fucking stupid. Because that's not what it is. It's taking turns. Or like when I started organizing all the girls' stuff so they could take it to their room, and I didn't have to be asked that. I just did it. So we just work.
The girls actually fell instantly in line with the lead that you took too, which that could have been a massive fight between everybody there.
Yeah, and I didn't think about that.
What was that? There was a couple of other things. I had to deal with work while I was there too the first couple of days. So I was still working, before.
I made that fun though.
Before the paid time off kicked in for us to be able to go to Magical Treehouse vacation.
Did Rachel like go get some of those like caramel apple sucker pops and bring them from like the dollar store? Love those.
Totes, man. Yeah. I got these sweet ass boots that go up to like past my knees, and they're like 6 inches, and they tie up the back. And I wore that with a fun little outfit. You got to keep it spicy,
girl.
My man was happy.
Stanley looks like he's in pain remembering that, like the good kind of pain, but still.
I did like dominatrix makeup, and I had a silky ropes on. I mean, I fell asleep on the couch, and I was probably drooling because he was working. But I still gave it a go and an effort.
Yeah, when I came, that's right. I came up from a broadcast. I came in from a broadcast, and she's dressed to the nines, passed the fuck out. I was like, oh.
On my belly, I'm like, I know you woke me up like,
I'm thinking like that music from like the Matrix. The original Matrix movie went in the very beginning when they go to that club. It's like,
except I'm passed
she's just
out,
like passed out.
I'm like, hey, what's up? How you want some of this?
Oh, I still got it. Yeah. Oh boy.
It was
Okay.
fun. We had a good time.
was a
Yeah,
couple of
Stanley's
other-
down for anything. He's the
There-
best.
There were a couple of other pain in the ass situations that occurred as well. I cannot remember them because they were
Lawyer stuff, divorce
Yes,
stuff,
actually.
like legal stuff. Yeah.
attorney, lawyer, legal stuff that went down as well.
Being exhausted at the end of the night because he had to work and he wanted to stay up with me, and I just put him to sleep anyway.
Yeah, you got a special trick that fucking just knocks me the fuck out. And I
was a
eventually
massage therapist for a long time.
it became a meme. It's almost a meme because she's got this thing where she puts her thumb on my head and moves it up like this real slow, and I'm like, stop it!
Yeah, work that third eye.
Knock it off! Don't do that! So it's like, no, big tough man, one thumb.
That's the power of lady.
That is the power.
It was
of
cute.
lady.
We had an amazing time. The kids were exceptional. They were fighting over who was going to sit with me all the time. It just filled my heart so much. I cannot even describe it.
Did
And
you
that's what I
encourage
hold
the
on
dating?
to. No.
You were like this.
But I
girl
did
being
get
fought over.
No, I just went in mom mode. We had to share. Actually, the youngest, when we dropped her off at like a church thing they go to every week, cried because I couldn't stay. Oh. And that's the night he proposed.
Oh, so what day was that?
Wednesday, and I got there Monday. And I did not know that was going to happen. Yeah, he did. And he has to do it again.
No, I didn't think it was going to happen either. It wasn't impulsive. I had considered doing it. The entire time. As soon as she arrived, I was like, "Hey, this is really happening. You've flown 2,000 fucking miles to get here. We have talked and known each other for over a year. Things have become much more intense. Let's call it December, end of December, and then I had thought, with the level of communication that we have and have been very intentional about maintaining, this is the hard work. Communicating even when you are upset or mad as hell and not just shutting down, that is the hard work, in my opinion, from what I've encountered inside of, 2 marriages now. Working on number 3.
Too.
I had decided that I want to honor your hard work. I very much so respect you as a person and the personal work that you have done, because you are not always a happy person, and I think that it's very realistic. You are a very real person, and so we had gone out to a place of mine where they serve the food she hates the most, Brussels sprouts. God, they're so fucking good.
Guess who was gassy all night after the proposal? Like, that's hot.
What did they do to you, man? I love Bart.
And so we go out to this place and we're standing there on an outlook and it's cold as hell. And I'm like, we're better head back here soon. And the thought hits me is now is the time. And so I have what I would say is a decent connection to my higher power. And I ask, is this the time? And the response that I instantly get backwards is there peace? And I think, yeah, there is peace, as we have nighttime, bedtime music playing right now. I think that's very, very important. So yeah, I get there is peace. So I slowly take a step back and kneel down and just kind of wait. I should have thrown a rock at her and been like, look at me, but I didn't. I was just patient. She looks around and is like, oh God, I can see the, oh God, no. Looking her on her face, oh God, no, this is happening. And I proposed, because in that moment there couldn't have been anything more right in the entire world.
See, you don't need a ring. I mean, but I'm still getting one, and then you gotta propose again.
That was actually one of the most interesting and best times that I've had out of the entire experience, was getting a chance to go to the jeweler and watch.
After we talked to Gary, and here's real quick, here's another thing, like his mentor therapist who,
Guru.
you know, so it's like we kind of had like pre-marital counseling. So this is all very intentional. It's not just like, I fucking love you, okay? I love, like, I feel like I'm on a rainbow cloud. Let's just do, everything's gonna be great forever. It won't, but that's okay. And after that, I was like, he's like, wow, this is it. And I'm like, okay, can we go to a jewelry store? So we did. So continue.
Thank you. I look forward to working with you and building with you even through the bad times. It's going to be fun. It's going to be hell, but it's going to be fun, and that's very realistic.
Yeah.
So
That's all. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's to me as an onlooker, that's what makes sense, is that you're willing to acknowledge that.
Mm-hmm.
We go to the jewelry store, and both of us have a slight urge to pee when we first enter.
I'm gonna say a mega urge for me. I was at the mega level. I had like
By
a
the
mega
end,
You
yeah.
look at each other and you were like, what? And then it was like slight urge to pee. And you guys knew that your minds had begun to meld.
Yeah.
We did have the mind
Becoming
meld,
one.
especially when we sat down and started having her try these rings on. And so we about a half hour, honestly, in there and trying everything on, and she eventually ends up
Brian.
trying.
Well, I
on,
look at him. I'm like, which one would you pick out? Because I like antique kind of stuff, but I wanted to know what he would pick out, and that's the one I chose. And then they talked
perfectly, by the way.
It did. It was scary. I was like, oh, okay. And I was able to customize how I wanted it. And I did have a moment where, because I've also been married twice, where I'm like, okay, Rachel, don't make it about the superficial stuff. Like, it's beautiful, it's lovely. If someone doesn't offer you something of value, don't say yes, because it should just feel right and comfortable. It's something I've learned through doing hard work and failing forward. But I was like, I looked at him, I'm like, are you sure? Like, we don't have to do this. Because I knew it was going to be expensive. And what did you say?
You're worth it.
And he's like, do you want it? And I'm like, yeah. So I got to customize the ring I wanted. And the ladies there were so sweet. The one wanted to know our love story, and she thought that was amazing. She's like, people come in here so cranky. I'm like, how? Like, fucking pick your ring. Ugh. So, right? God, we're gonna angrily hold hands. So we told them our story, and they loved it, and it made me realize, like, after talking to Gary and doing all this, like, none of thing was planned. Everything I came into with set intention through my higher power meditation, lots of prayer, was happening because I had all the hopes, and I just went with it. And it was, I mean, how is that not meant to be? It's wonderful. And the ring is huge, and I love it. I had to say that.
And then we left and went to the bathroom.
Oh my God, did we go to the bathroom?
Like together? Like
No.
Held hands and looked at each other. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we just think. Remember how, like, on swings, you like one person would sit here and the other one would like open the legs and, like, you know, swing together. That's what we did, and we just like I'm so glad I'm with you. Sorry about that, but I love you so much.
I have to sit to pee too. This is going to work great.
It was a beautiful thing. It was not the peeing that didn't actually happen. I went in my own space.
Wait, this was what? This was Thursday?
Yeah, we went and picked up the kids from school. And then what were the kids asking? When are you going to marry her? It's like, God help me.
After we ate Chinese that night, they didn't know. Because at first Grace was like, you gotta take like 4 years. I'm like, well, you know, and they're snuggling with me. We're eating Chinese because I only wanted me to take her to the bathroom. It was wonderful. And she gets up and goes, Daddy, you need to propose to her. So go get a ring. Like, offered him before I was there 25 cents to go to the machine and get one. I'm like, So when we came back, he had to go out and get something, and I come upstairs from our love down in the garage, and everybody's just staring at me, and I'm like, and with the or like a phone, I'm like, what the fuck is happening?
I had to go to Rite Aid because I lost a tooth, and I'm the tooth fairy, and
That's right.
And so
and she's like not playing. She's like $20. I'm like, this is not negotiation, Terrace. You get,
And so the girl, my daughter suggested I go get a ring pop, and Rachel had last time said you better bring a ring pop, and I knew that her favorite flavor was not the one that I got her, but she was okay with it. It was cherry, and they only had sour cherry, so I ended up getting strawberry after digging through the entire thing and grabbing the only strawberry ring pop that was there, as dictated to me by my children. So Rachel did have to go downstairs to grab something, and I told the girls, I was like, hey, I'm going to do this. Because I goes, Grace says, I want to record it. I said, okay.
Remind me of their ages again. 10 and
6 and 9.
6 and 9. Oh,
about to be 10 this year, yeah.
Oh,
and
so sweet.
I proposed again in front of my daughters because I wanted them to see. And they coerced me into it, but no.
So that was Thursday. So you proposed on Wednesday, and then Thursday you guys actually went to the jeweler, and then this happened Thursday evening.
Yeah. Wow. And then I sat there and it was like watching movies all fancy because I wanted to try my clothes on. So while he was gone, we were downstairs. She's like, can I jump on the bed? I'm like, yeah. So we're jumping on the bed. We're in dresses. Yeah, we jumped on the bed. We're in dresses, and I was really fancy. And then we went up and watched a movie. And when I sat down, we were all snuggling, and it was just like, this is home right now. That's what it felt like. I'm going to cry. Yeah, it feels like home. And then Keziah looked at me and was like, you're going to be one of us. You're going to be a Murray, right? And yeah, you're one of us now. And I mean, how does that not just melt you to pieces? Again, no talking to the kids about, like, we've meshed them, but no, like, hey, we're going to get married. Like, you should say this because that happens. And none of that. This is all organic. It just is.
Right.
It was so wonderful. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to be a Murray. And I didn't tell him that yet because I hadn't made up my mind if I'm going to change my name. But I am. So we were holding the kids and looked at each other, and it was very loving and longing, and we did it all night, and it was great. It's okay when you're in love. It was beautiful. Everything was beautiful. I didn't want to leave.
How you guys feeling right now?
Stupid in love.
I need a helmet.
A helmet?
Yeah, for how fully retarded I am over this wonderful woman.
I hate being so far away.
I think it's good. I don't because I want you here. Meow! But what this has done is this has forced a much higher level of communication.
Yeah. It is. It has to be very intentional. That's something that I've learned from Stanley. He talks about intentionality a lot. And it's, I've obviously heard that word in my life, but putting it into action, I realized I'd never have been that intentional, thinking I'm an amazing communicator. And we had to also, with all the delays in the flights, we both asked a lot of important questions to like hash out any loose ends because this is serious. And I made a list of what I need to get done, like realistically, to move, because it is a big move. I'm not just like, whatever, it'll just work. Let's just get in a U-Haul and just slap some shit in there. No, I have to change schools. I'm changing my name. I'm getting married. I'm going to mesh a life with somebody. There's kids. It has to be grounded for us in faith and recovery and, you know, family. And that takes a lot of work. It's worth it, though. You're very worth it. Such an amazing man. I love you so much.
Thank you. You are an amazing woman.
Sorry, Brian, we're getting real mushy over here.
No, I'm just taking it in, man. I'm just listening to you guys. I appreciate what you're doing, you know, because to me, it's like you guys both know your situations. You both know where you're coming from in life. You met in recovery, and to me, there's people in recovery who do this sort of thing without intentionality, where it's more like, kind of like you. It's like, I kind of like you too, and it's like, I like your titties. And it's like, I like them too. It's like, let me like them. You know that. You guys know what
it's
I'm.
true.
You
Like,
guys
let's
know
move
what I'm
in.
talking. You guys know what I'm talking about. And there is
Yeah.
not there does not exist this higher discussion of, well, hold on. I have an autistic 8-year-old and you have 2 girls. How are they going to get along? All of the concepts that have to be at least looked at before you even try to start moving in that direction. So I personally, I appreciate it because I think the people who don't do this, it's like, yeah, go figure that you get wrecked, because that's what happens to them. They get wrecked because they don't do the work. They don't acknowledge, like Stanley said earlier, there are going to be days where it's going to be hell. It's just going to be tons of like, hey, did you do this or that? And it's just like, for me, the only thing that occurred in my mind was like, are they aware of that? And I knew that you guys were, because I know you both well enough to at least know that you guys,
How
you
we
know
are in a
what.
pinch. I mean, in recovery, you get to see that in people, like the bad days. That's the beauty of it, because we get to be there for each other like that. And I mean, we already went through that with the airport, because there's times he's joking. I'm like, I'm really cranky right now. I can't do that. And I don't yell. I'm just like, this isn't for me. Or he'll be like, because I get really tired. We were talking about music, and I was way bragging because I am insanely competitive. You're right. And he's like, you've said that an infinite amount of times. And I was like, okay, I gotta shut up. I'm cranky, because I trust that. I think we both trust each other, that we're not being rude. We're just not letting each other like spiral into this thing where, like you're saying, Brian, like that's causes fights, because that lack of communication, because you focused on the titties instead of the heart and the faith first. First it's faith, then it's heart, and then it's the sex. And it's a layered sandwich of amazing.
Here are the questions that we have been asking each other. These are the ones that she asked me, and these are fucking brutal questions where I can honestly say this is how I know work has been done, and this is not me being, look at how good I am, but this is the litmus test, right? When you're in recovery, you're able to look at the past, hopefully objectively without it crushing you. And in the past, had I been asked these questions, I would have taken it as like, there's something wrong with you, or I am not enough in some way, shape, or form. And now, through a lot of tough communication, because I've triggered you and you've triggered me, it's not like we're easily triggered. I find offenses a muscle that you must exercise in order for it to become something that you can instantly snap into. And some people are only good at jumping to conclusions. I can't jump. So the question that, and fat, no,
not even a little bit.
So this is a style of questions that we have been asking each other since the beginning. I am explaining to her how I am able to see where I was arrogant in the past, in my past 2 marriages. So she asked me this question: what made you arrogant? How do you think that affected your last marriage? How is it different now? And why? Can you see how that could potentially fucking enrage somebody? He's like, how dare you, you son of a bitch? No. And so it is things like this that I absolutely enjoy. And I'm thankful for it because it gives me the opportunity to, one, I know that I'm not going to be judged when I say these things. Two, this is
Yeah, we trust.
a beautiful, safe space to be able to deep dive. If that is not fostered or created together, I don't know how that happens inside of a relationship, let alone a marriage. Like if that's not part of the foundation, which it is, and I thank God for people like Gary and people like Jerry. A lot of Aries. And inside of that.
Terry.
Yeah, my dad's name. My brother's an Aries. It's just if that was not part of the foundation, and you know what, it wasn't in the past 2 marriages. It absolutely wasn't. I don't know how we could get to the point to be able to ask those kinds of questions without them feeling like an attack, right? And they're not. It's just a good opportunity to be able to express where I was, where I'm at now, and my hope for the future.
You're really good for me to be able to have space to do that, because I was definitely someone that I am. I want to ask like the hard questions because that's realistic.
Mm-hmm.
And I always felt like, I mean, I still probably do it, but I did it a lot in the beginning, even though it's been only 3 months. Like the communications, well, it's just insane. So in the very beginning, I would apologize a lot because I didn't want to offend, because I'm used to being yelled at. And Stanley never got angry, and that allowed me to like investigate these things more because they are important. And it helped me in recovery too, because it made me look at myself, because I'm not as selfish as I was, or arrogant. So I'm not asking these questions like, what are you like? I'm just like, dude, I do this too. And we would talk about that. I mean, just how many hours would we talk? We read books together. Like we did a lot of work. We did a lot of work.
The Indigo Child.
Yeah, I read like a lot one night. We would stay up and just pray and a lot of shit. A lot of shit. That's what it takes. That's the secret. Just a lot of shit. Bam, done.
Even with a 3-hour time difference too. That has been an absolute hurdle.
And still holding down the fort and still being parents, and you going through your divorce and me like wrapping up my life after one and being honest about where we were and making space and still having literally 2 hours of sleep for me for a long time now. But I sacrificed that, and I know people don't always agree with it, because I've had the suggestions of people in recovery like I'm giving something up where I shouldn't be, like I'm taking too much of my time. But the way I see it is that God's going to put really, really challenging things in front of me, because that's my higher power, to see what I'm made of. And also, like, it's going to take hard work to get what I really want. It's like a gold medal in the Olympics. You don't just like, I just kind of like, yeah. I swam a half lap. So like, I'm a winner. No, you got to fucking train and work your ass off for years. And all the training of my failing forward, all those marriages, all these relationships, everything I learned brought me exactly where I need to be, to Stanley, to open my heart, to find my other half. And it is the most beautiful thing I've ever experienced, besides having my son. So that's real mushy.
Moosh moosh.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, I think when I listen to this, I'm just like, well, for me, when you're in sobriety, recovery, after you've worked through your own steps as far as cleaning up your past and being able to look at yourself as far as being aware of maybe some of your more provocative character defects that can cause problems and all that, you can either stay there, and you see a lot of people in recovery do this, and they become shells of what they could be. Let's say that, because their identifier turns into that's who I am. I'm just this. I'm always going to be this way. And the reality is that if you're actually truly deeply engaged in your spiritual work, God will over time actually lead you to become purified of those defects, because you can actually start to see that they are choices. And with that in mind, you can start to focus on what you actually want for yourself, I think. And I just listen to you guys, and it just sounds to me like two people who are very clear on what they want in life. And to me, it's like, why, if you know what you want, which I can't say that I do for my own self, I can't say that I really truly know what I want. I'm far more just letting myself be an adult as an adult for the first time in my own experience.
Right.
If you know what you want, well, why wouldn't you go for it? That's just how I see it.
It's right in front of you. Yeah.
And
one of the things that I have, I don't mean to interrupt you. One of the things that I personally have coined, I'm not going to say it's amazing or anything, but what I like to say is this: it is more important to know what you do not want, and you flush that out to the point to where it is absolutely crystal clear what you do not want. Why? Because then it leaves what you do want nice and open. Because what I want changes. Change is the only consistent thing that happens in life. So if I know what I don't want, I can move easily towards what I do.
Which would lead you to what you do want.
Yeah, that woman in the top box.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Brian.
Knowing what you don't want, and then you know what you do want because of knowing what you don't want. And that's what I want. So get on board. I was trying to go off what Brian was saying, because I'm like, I think he's trying to do a little play on that.
Well, I appreciate what you're saying, Stanley, because you do need to know what you don't want as far as looking. I mean, I think it's easier for you guys because you're coming from, both of you you're the veteran of 2 marriages. So you know that you really do want to have a life partner.
Marriage.
And you know that you've been through 2 experiences of what you don't want ultimately. And I would think that if you are a person who is willing to do the investigative work within, that at a certain point, it's like, if that doesn't change as far as like that's what you want, like you get through both of those and you still want a life partner, my experience is that the universe gives you what you want ultimately. If you're doing work on yourself, the universe does show up, however you want to term that. But I do believe that higher power, God just wants us to put in work on ourselves. That's been my experience, just to keep putting work in on ourselves and to know that God's ultimately the one doing all of the work, actually, if you want to get down to it. We're really just, because the more work we think we're doing, the more pride we develop. And that's when the ego becomes involved. And that's when you have real problems with communication. Because then it's like, I did this. It's like, did you? Like,
correct.
Did you really do that? Or did you maybe like invest in thinking that you did, when in reality you were guided the whole way by this God that you claim?
That's actually
He was really just a big joker.
Yeah,
he is actually a little bit. Yeah.
Sneaky.
Yes.
This was very unexpected, and like the people that I think are scared about what's going on here because it's fast. I don't know
Let me
if
be that person.
you have. Okay, go. Scene.
Who do you think you guys are? You've known each other like 2 days. Hey, I don't look terrible.
I know you look amazing. Oh.
No, are you guys crazy? Like, what do you guys even?
We're so weird here. I love it.
Your life is my life.
And now
I
it's
know
over.
I'm not
We can
you
live-
or Stanley.
I can't drink the seltzer water right now. It's gonna get shot all over.
As
the
long
monitor.
as you come to the
But I-
wedding,
But I should gonna say, I should get to decide whether or not you guys get married. It should be me, an outside party. I should.
why? Why though? Tell
Because
me.
I want to. You dare question me? Especially on this. Intimidation tactics. Intimidation tactics.
Please don't call down the power on me.
No, I'm not that close to the power. Don't worry, I would never try that.
That's true. If you're that person, you are not close to the power. You can't call it down. Brian,
That was
I love
actually
you.
how we met. Was
Calling
that we
down
were
the power?
both in? Well, yes, in different WalMarts 2,000 miles away in the parking lots. I was able to call down the power on a transmission. No, we were both not looking for anything like this. We were both totally happy being just like, no, I'm good. I'm not. No.
Because Stanley specifically said, and this it made me laugh when I was talking to him. He's like, "Listen, I don't want any relationship," because we were hitting it off. And we were like, I mean, Brian and I met like that too. Like, you just start making connections, and because you were coming around more, Stanley, so we started talking. I don't want any relationship. It's all friendships. It's just all, and just, because that was all over the phone before we even did video. And I remember just smiling. I was like, this dude has no clue. And, but yeah, it was nice. And I honored that because I'm like, I would flirt and stuff. Was it on my mind? Absolutely. But I'm very respectful of whatever, someone else's space. So, but it didn't even take a week before that changed. It was pretty quick.
We met at a game night actually. That was
We did. That's right. Yep. I invited you to game night.
It was game night, and so we went and laughed a whole bunch, and then it was
our date.
It was the first date. Now that I think about it, and then she had called me up and was asking me random questions that she had written down, like, "What is your favorite CD?"
Because I already knew I liked him, so I'm writing in my journal to share with him. I plotted it out. I'll be honest about it. I woke up that morning singing and dancing. I was like, damn it. Because I knew I liked him a lot. And yeah, it was funny because you were still maintaining like, I'm single. So we'll just pretend like we're in a relationship and just, because I'm like, these are for people in a relationship. He's like, so what? We'll just say that, like, if we were, we'll just answer it like that. And in my head, I'm like, you didn't. I literally thought this. I was like, you're not thinking this through, buddy. And the rest is history.
No, she called me and had written her own questions down inside of her journal. And I had the week before. I had the week before.
What's your favorite color?
Forest green.
What's your other favorite?
I know.
Yeah, the week before I had heard a different podcast. Damn, I'm trying to tie this in so hard. This thing about the 36 questions that the New York Times
dark,
had come up with.
clear.
Yeah. Damn it.
Pink 356.
The fucking hex color. Oh my god. Oh.
All right, sorry, Stanley, go, please. I can't. When he starts riffing, we gotta go with it. It's too much. It's too good.
It's my favorite hex color. How did you know?
Your favorite next 300 colors. Okay, so Stanley was saying though that so we met at the game night. This is going on.
64 box of Crayola.
Where were you going with that? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. I was just throwing shit down.
No, it's good. We she asked me the questions and I had it was an impulsive thought. I will absolutely say that it was an impulsive thought. And I was like, we should do, since you're into questions, we should do the 36 questions that lead to love.
Because you were like, have you heard about it? And I was like, no. So that's how it broached. It wasn't like, hey, baby, can I ask you these? It was innocent. And I was like, these are to like fall in love. I'm like, so maybe be careful. He's like, oh, it's good. I'm like, okay, whatever.
I didn't know what the fuck was going to happen.
Me either.
It took like 2 days. Was it 2 days? Two long phone calls. Yeah, we ended up going through all 3 sections of them, and by the end of it, I was like, "Dear God, this is going to happen."
And then, like a week later,
either of you try to derail it, like a self-sabotage kind of thing. Yeah,
I'm pretty daft.
Yeah, because in my mind, I'm like, okay, so we're gonna have some sweet, sweet phone sex. I'm not gonna talk to him or look him in the eye ever again at game night. And his favorite color is fucking dark, dark clear, so I'm out. But it didn't happen. No, I'm in my head, I'm like, it's not gonna work because of some of the questions, and I'm not gonna mention it. What he asks me, just personal stuff. I didn't see it at the time, but it was him. Because there is good vetting where it's like you're figuring somebody out, like if you're compatible on any level. Because friendship is important. To me, like the level we're at now, it's not just like enjoying each other and lustful. It takes friendship and dedication with that. And then you build on it. And then obviously the spark has to be there and you keep building on it. And what he opened up to me about, I've had issues in the past with other people in a different way, but I maintained openness and I was resistant. But I used my words and communicated because I realized like this is someone I care about. If it's important to him, I want to understand why instead of just judging. So for me, I changed the way I spoke, and that brought me to this point. And I maintained a willingness.
I had to change the way that I spoke too.
Yeah. My intention changed immediately. And that's what surprised me. That's where I believe in like fate and divine intervention like that, because I am serious. Never would do that in the past. I didn't care if I hurt someone's feelings. Once I get to know someone, I want them like the way I was interested in you. I'd be like, okay, that's fucking stupid. Why are you doing that? Like, I wasn't nice because I was just like, it's going to end anyway. So that's where my self-sabotage was. And for some reason that wasn't there. And then we had like, we got deep, like lucid dream stuff, like really so into who we are as people and how this could work. Because of that initial spark, because of the compatibility of wanting to work together, our preferences romantically, our preferences, because it goes deeper. It's really superficial at first, which makes sense because if you're like, I'm really into like studying whatever and this is my life. Yeah, I don't do any of that. I'm just going to sit around all day. That's probably not going to work. And then it just deepened. And by the end, he was like, I'm in trouble. Yes, you are.
Yes.
And he likes all my weirdness, which I've never been accepted for that. Like where somebody doesn't mind. I don't know. It's nice.
All your quirks. Quirks.
Yeah.
I'm a
queer.
quirky motherfucker.
Oh, you are the weirdest. I call him my delightful weirdo. I fucking love it. I love it.
You guys trying to add an 8th night of the week named Quirks Day.
Yes. How did you know?
I know.
Just for you guys to be quirky together on that night.
Oh,
get out of our head, Brian.
We're going to definitely be quirky all the way together. We were talking about what to do on Halloween. And so we're going to get all the kids. Oh, yeah, go hit it. That's so good. Thank you, Haribo. Sugar-free gummies.
We read all those reviews on Amazon. I told him about it, and then we were looking up rubber duckies and stuff, like to buy bulk rubber duckies to throw at people off the balcony. And we were laughing so hard we woke the kids up. Like it was so much fun. And that was not sexy time. That was us being friends.
I haven't laughed so hard reading Amazon reviews in my entire fucking life.
It's a good
I
story.
thought I was going to die.
Dictates the misadventures of someone indulging in the wonders of Haribo's sugar-free option for their gummy bears, and
by the way,
leads to
let's read it. Let's do
pretty
it now.
explosive experience.
Do it. Oh my God! Not only that, the 12-foot beach ball.
So let's end with this because this is a good end. And I actually kept it on my phone because I was so sad that I wanted to look at something fun. So I kept that on my phone. Yeah, these gummy bears don't play, people. Here's one. See you in hell, Harborough sugar-free gummy. Oh, gummy bears. It was my last class of the semester, and the final exam was worth 30% of our grade. After a late night study session, I felt confident, but I had to decide between sleeping in or cooking breakfast. My eyelids chose sleep. My stomach later regretted this decision. And after several uncomfortable stomach growls, I finally decided to make a quick stop by the campus bookstore, grab a snack before my test. Since the semester was ending and everyone was going home for the summer, a lot of items were on sale, including the snacks and candy that they kept up front. Being in the hungry state that I was, it felt only logical to pick the largest yet least expensive candy in order to get more bang for my buck. And there they sat. 2 bags of Harborough sugar-free gummy bears. Buy one, get one free. What a deal! I thought naively. I would eat 1 bag before my test and 1 bag afterwards. As I walked to class, I gleefully chewed on those abominable little bastards, unaware of the utter mayhem that would soon unleash upon my poor anus. I sat down at my desk as the professor informed us that due to issues with cheating in the past, restroom breaks would be prohibited until the completion of the exam. I'll give you 10 minutes to use the restroom now. This will be your last chance. Any takers? The demon bears hadn't released their unholy necromancy upon my stomach yet. So in my moment of ignorant foolishness, I remained seated, still munching on those miniature bear-shaped bombs. After the students wise enough to take the professor's offer had returned, the professor handed out the test. I was 6 questions in when it happened. It started subtly at first, almost like a slight tingly sensation in my lower abdomen. I thought nothing of it, assuming my intestines were just doing their thing. Little did I know, my intestines were trying to desperately to warn me of the horror that was on the horizon. By question 9, it happened again, but this time it was followed by a sharp pain, as if those infernal hellions had orchestrated an attack upon my colon. I fought to contain the groan that tried escaping my lips. It was at this point I began to panic. Something was going horribly wrong, and I needed to get through this test before it got any worse. By question 14, my worst fear was upon me. The Satan bear's burning, hot, liquidy, dark magic crashed against my anal sphincter like a tidal wave. I was able to close the hatch just in time, but those relentless toxic bears beat against it like orcs breaking down the doors of Helm's Deep. I knew I wouldn't be able to do so much as shift in my seat without risking a breach. I kept fighting through the exam, clenching my cheeks with all my might. Beads of sweat began rolling down my neck. Suddenly, a loud, gurgling war cry came from my belly. The entire class lifted their heads. At this point, nothing mattered except expelling these ungodly presence from my bowels. With 15 questions left, I promptly wrote C for every answer and ran out of the classroom. My professor yelled something, but I was too preoccupied with the volcanic eruption that needed to take place before I could find sweet, sweet relief. I burst into the bathroom like the Kool-Aid man, and behind the handicap stall was empty. Sun rays from the adjacent window shone upon it as if it were a gift from God himself. It took me less than 0.5 seconds to undo my belt buckle, pull down my pants, finally relax my weary buttocks upon the toilet seat. It took absolutely no effort to expel this demon. Almost immediately, the floodgates of hell were opened and the damned liquid souls of an entire bag's worth of gummy bears cried as they burned through my sphincter and into the watery abyss below. I never felt such simultaneous relief and anguish in my life. After 30 more minutes in this, I immediately went home, dug a hole in my backyard, and burned the remaining bag of gummy bears. I leave you with this. Do not, I repeat, do not eat these spawns of Satan. Not only did they cause me to fail my final test, but the anguish I experienced is something I wouldn't wish upon anyone, not even my worst enemy. The only place these godforsaken hell bears belong are buried deep below the earth's surface. That's fucking magic. So thank you, reviewed from the United States on June 5th, 2015. Luke, that's fun. The
Nice
end.
closing thought.
Right?
Oh God, wherever he buried those is dead. The grass is just.
Well, let's close it up. What's our thought here? What's our premise? Stay sober even when it's crazy. Like when you go to an airport and it sucks and you want to punch someone in the face. Don't do that. Just stay sober and fall in love, let go, and God damn it, don't eat sugar-free gummy bears.
Thank you, Haribo.
And fuck you, Chicago.
Hey.